Hey folks, MasakoX here. This story is based on something that is basically what could be described as something quite insignificant. Goku winning a match he hadn't won before? What difference could that make? Well, it turns out a lot. If Goku had won the first tournament he had competed in, the 21st Budokai, against Roshi in disguise, his entire attitude towards martial arts, the whole discipline thing, someone stronger than you, his friends, and pretty much everything would have been completely turned on its head, decimated, from the vision that we are more used to. In short, Goku here is a complete jerk. And that rivalry with Tenshinhan, oh, that's far more relevant here. In fact, it's quite critical to the plot. In the last part, the Cell Juniors were being slowly picked off in the midst of the Dragon team's slow fight back. They were even able to make some gains in that regard, but ultimately, Perfect Cell was just trouncing all of them. And thanks to Goku's additional stubbornness and determination to win, locked in Cell's DNA, Cell was even more forceful in his desire to completely waste the team, to prove a point. But at least he was willing to have a fight, a fair one in the midst of it all, just making it an equal battle. After all, like Goku, he would have been very upset at people cheating or pulling out last-minute surprises that he could interpret as cheating. Well, hold that thought, Cell, because after Chi-Chi bravely stepped up to the plate and did her very best to try and hold the fort against the Bugman, all of that would come to bear. He commended her bravery and sportsmanship, though, much better than Goku's, and he was willing to actually look in Goku's direction. Yeah, she was wiped out with his Kamehameha in front of Goku's face. That was the kicker that had taken several parts to manifest. It was his fault. Goku unleashed Super Saiyan 2 against Cell and quickly wasted him. No flair, no pomp, no rhetoric, no saying he was right, nothing. Goku was done with that, no matter how much Cell cried foul in the midst of it. Let's resume. With Cell having been wiped off of the face of the earth of the Saiyans' furious tirade against him, the situation had changed quite a bit. For the first time in a very long while, Goku had done the right thing, and without any sort of blowback. This was the first time he had done so since that very first Tenkaichi Budokai. Everyone looked toward Goku to see what he would do next. They were expecting him to cheer and whoop with delight that he had won against such a powerful enemy and had corrected a mistake, that he had managed to right the wrong he had seen in his eyes, in his interpretation alone, and stopped a cheating insect from domination of the planet and them. But they were quite wrong on this occasion. Instead of feeling happy with his performance, Goku was tired and angry with himself. The gang could see Goku struggling to try and contain his emotions. It was understandable since he had been through a lot. Super Saiyan 2 had quite clearly been more of an emotional drain than the original Super Saiyan. But this Goku was quite somber, very morose. That was quite the change. Despite the sheer amount of power he had demonstrated also, Goku was in no mood to celebrate this win. This felt empty, hollow. He hadn't earned this win. This wasn't even a win. This was simply him correcting his cursed mistakes from earlier. It was clean-up duty, nothing to commend. He looked up to the sky and silently wept. All of his frustration came pouring out, and he did his best to hide it from the others. He tried to say, "I'm sorry," to Chi-Chi's essence, wherever it was, even to Tenshinhan for all of the unnecessary negative energy that he had flung his way for so long, but he just couldn't bring himself to do it. And that made him feel even worse. What was also apparent was that despite them winning, they had lost a lot in the process. For now, they had no Dragon Balls. That meant that Tenshinhan, Chi-Chi, and all of the others that Cell had killed along the way would still be dead. Sure, they had saved Earth from further peril and destruction, but the damage done prior to that would be hard to mask. As everyone calmed down, they started to relax a little and think about going their separate ways or to find a means to get some Dragon Balls on their own, but nope, Goku didn't join them. Instead, he, without talking to anyone, simply disappeared off into the distance. Raditz and Nappa quickly followed in his footsteps to try and figure out what the hiffle was going on. All of this meant leaving Piccolo, Krillin, and Vegeta behind to tend to Trunks, who was slowly regaining consciousness. As the pair flew toward Kakarot's aura, they were trying to piece together what he was thinking. Raditz wasn't sure, and hoped that that transformation hadn't corrupted his brother's mind. Nappa tried to be hopeful though.
Maybe the power-up made him realize how much of a jerk he's been to us all for years.
Raditz wanted to come to his brother's defense, saying he's not a jerk, but the big lug had a point. Maybe, is all that Raditz could say. He would rather his brother had realized this in a less painful manner though. But maybe there was a chance for him to feel less defensive, be able to chill for once. They soon discovered that Kakarot was heading for Capsule Corp, with Bulma and Yamcha currently present there. When the Saiyan arrived, followed closely by his compatriots, she was surprised to say the least. The following warriors hadn't caught the start of their conversation, Bulma and Goku's, but they had caught the tail end of it. Are you sure, Goku? Is there anything we can do to change your mind? Goku shook his head and spoke in a quiet tone, Raditz and Nappa being barely able to hear. As quickly as you can. Bulma nodded slowly and proceeded to get to work. Goku looked down and tried to keep it together. He knew that Nappa and Raditz were right there. He could sense it, but they just could not see him like this. Raditz approached his brother, but instead of him acting all sensitive and considerate-like, Raditz went in like a freight train.
Hey, bub! What's the big idea, Why the long face? Don't you see? We won! What was with you running off so fast and... Oh!
Raditz spotted the bandit not that far away.
Hi, Yamcha. Why weren't you at the tournament also?
Yamcha let out a long, deep, drawn-out sigh. Believe me, I wanted to be there, but reality hit me. Since Cell off-10 Shinhan, I didn't think that it could be much help. He was the stronger of us two, and it took Cell's previous form to kill him. Me against that perfect form? Nah, no contest.
Balderdash, that's ridiculous. You are a warrior. You're one of us. The very fact that you thought how you would compare shows that there was at least a little part of you that wanted to try, and that is good enough in my book. I mean, sure, you could have died and all, but we all could have died. Anyway, we'll talk later. But Kakarot, what on earth are you doing?
Goku, who had silently let his brother ramble on for ages, turned to look at said brother with a stern expression. I can't do it, Raditz. I can't live with myself after what Chi-Chi did. For me. For all of us. Without her sacrifice, I probably would have led us all into oblivion. Raditz tried to rebut, but Goku held out his hand to silence him. No shouting. Just a gesture. I'm going to Namek to ask Porunga for help. Maybe try to get us a new Kami. Who knows? Nappa nodded, understanding the plan.
Ah, I see. We're going on a mission to get some more Dragon Balls, huh? Well, we're coming with you. Want us to tag along?
No. Goku was not willing to entertain them.
What do you mean, no?
Look, I do appreciate you two wanting to help. I really do. But everyone deserves a break. I've caused a lot of trouble the past few weeks. They could also do with a rest from me and my whining. This is my mess to fix. So please, let me fix it on my own. Nappa and Raditz looked at each other. They rarely had shown concern for anyone before, but they did show concern for their leaders. First Vegeta, and now Kakarot. Raditz clocked that there was nothing they could now say to make him change his mind. They had no choice but to comply, if that's what you wish.
But Kakarot,
Raditz's voice calmed down. Yeah?
If you need us, we're here. You know that.
I know. Goku turned away without another word, leaving his brother and Nappa to stew on that awkward exchange. As Dr. Briefs was busily preparing the spaceship to depart, the others joined the team at Capsule Corp to see Goku off, then choosing not to get in the way of his decision. I mean, if Bulma and Raditz couldn't change his mind, who else could? They were glad that he wanted to help their lot, though, in getting some new Dragon Balls. He and the Saiyan allies could have easily skipped town after the fight was over, but no, they had stuck around, showing that maybe not all Saiyans were bad, not even Vegeta. Trunks then decided to approach Goku, while he was slowly preparing to leave, he himself getting ready to head back to the future.
So, I won't see you again since I gotta head back to my timeline. So I guess this is goodbye then. Thanks for bringing back hope to this world. And saving everyone.
Goku smiled, the first smile he had made in days.
Don't mention it. If it weren't for you, I'd probably be dead thanks to that virus.
Trunks shrugged.
I'm just trying to be useful. Hopefully you'll find Namek quickly.
You should do that in your timeline too, by the way. Maybe you can restore things on Earth that were destroyed by the androids.
Trunks nodded, showing consideration for his own lot was nice.
My father would have wanted that, but what about Gohan?
Goku turned around and looked at Trunks.
Gohan? My grandfather's been dead for ages. Natural causes. What's he got to do with this?
No, I meant...
Trunks looked confused for a moment.
Wait, what did I say? Never mind. I must be tired.
Hold on, sorry. That was weird. Never mind, moving on.
Anyway, Trunks, thanks again for everything. Your father would have been proud of you had he been around to witness this fight. I'm sure of it.
He patted the young man on the shoulder. Trunks looked in the direction of the present prince, where Vegeta was observing them both from a distance.
Oh, I'm sure that he has a lot of complicated feelings going on right now. But it's nice of you to say that. Have a nice journey, Goku.
Goku shook Trunks by the hand.
Right back at you, friend.
And as Goku went to his starship and started his engines, he bid farewell to Earth and his formerly estranged friends. Goku had to check himself for a second. That was strange. He hadn't thought about them like that for a while, ever since the 23rd tournament, when they had piled against him regarding his behavior. It was nice not to have that weight on his shoulders anymore. With the blue dots slowly getting smaller and smaller, Goku prepared himself for a quiet sojourn to Namek to fix his mistakes, all the mess that he had made. When he suddenly heard a familiar voice ringing out throughout the ship, and it was not coming from the communicator. So, how long will it take for us to get to Namek then? Kakarot whipped around, having not sensed his energy, and spotted,
Yamcha! What are you doing here? You can't be here! I need you to get back to Earth!
Yamcha, who knew the controls inside and out after watching Bulma, put his hand over them. No can do, man. I made up my mind. Look, Tenshinhan was my best friend. I know that you two had your differences, but I want to do something useful for once. Please, I need that, Goku. You do understand, right? He did understand, Yamcha, but he couldn't bring himself to say it. He was angry with the bandit having stowed away without his knowing like that, but he couldn't say that he didn't understand him. He couldn't stay mad at him anyway. After all, if the roles had been reversed, he would have done the same. And so, they travelled together. Yamcha got to tag along after all. And this carried on for a few months, neither of them knowing exactly what had occurred on Earth while they were gone. Goku even started to train Yamcha to get back his self-esteem and to help pass the time. They should have done something constructive, and that's what they did. Call it a destiny of fates, but the two travellers had managed to find Kami's homeworld relatively quickly. Quicker than either of them had anticipated. And as they arrived on New Namek, Mori was more than happy to assist them, and it was decided that Porunga would send Dende back to the lookout on Earth via a wish, where he would then go on to become their new guardian. And of course creating a new set of Dragon Balls on Earth, duh. Mori also told them that he had upgraded Porunga since the last time they were here, so he was also able to revive the victims of Cell in a single wish, instead of them having to do it one person at a time like before. They had one more wish left in which to cast.
Oh, great Porunga, tell us! Where can we find a place to train? Something that would teach us to grow as both fighters and people.
You two should seek the planet Yardrat. There, you need to ask the one known as Pibara for help.
Yamcha looked troubled. Shouldn't we have just asked him if he could teleport us there?
Oh.
I have set the computer of your vessel to get you there. Good luck!
While everyone on Earth was happy about the revival of Cell's victims, they were a bit worried that Goku and Yamcha chose not to return. Vegeta had guessed that maybe Kakarot had gone off to train somewhere out in space, in peace. I mean, he would have done the same. Slowly but surely, though, they moved on with much more peaceful lives. The prince decided there and then to be more present in his Trunks' life. Still a bit broken from the fight with Cell and struck by the realization that the future version of his son had left him, but at least he was more game to help the team now. He hoped wherever this future Trunks was, he had dealt with the issues in his timeline. Raditz and Nappa, though, they managed to mellow up a little, just a bit, and started to train with Tenshinhan and Piccolo up on the lookout, whilst also assisting Dende. Chi-Chi then returned to her rightful place as the world martial arts champion, and even opened up an academy, teaching kids self-defense. Years passed, and no one had seen Goku and Yamcha in all of that time, not even a single message from their ship. But the likes of Vegeta knew, though, that they were still alive out there. They just weren't ready yet to come back. Until one certain fateful year. But we're going to talk about that in the next part, as that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. If you'd like to see a timeline where Goku acts differently to what you might expect, check out this story here, where Goku never hit his head and was more problematic to work with. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later!